Today, on Running to Him.
Our praise to God is not only for the good times, but also for those times in which we struggle.
And this is a devotion for 7-1. Today we will read Leviticus chapters 1 through 3 and concentrate on 1 through 6. Leviticus 1 through 6 says, Then the Lord called to Moses and spoke to him from the tent of meeting, saying, Speak to the sons of Israel, and say to them, When any man of you brings an offering to the Lord, you shall bring your offering of animals from the herd or flock. If his offering is a burnt offering from the herd, he shall offer it, a male without defect. He shall offer it at the doorway of the tent of meeting, that he may be accepted before the Lord. And he shall lay his hand on the head of the burnt offering, that it may be accepted for him to make atonement on his behalf. He shall slay the young bull before the Lord, and Aaron's sons, the priests, shall offer up the blood and sprinkle the blood on the altar that is at the doorway of the tent of meeting. He shall then skin the burnt offering and cut it into pieces. Well, some of us have owned farm animals in the past. Possibly they were members of Future Farmers of America or a 4-H club of some kind. Some of us may have lived on a farm. Now, my father decided to purchase 2 sheep for my mother on a particular Mother's Day when I was about 7 or 8 years old. What compelled him to do this is beyond my comprehension. And speaking with my mother after my father's death, it was beyond hers as well. Nonetheless, my twin brother and I had the job of taking care of the sheep. And when we lived in Sunnyvale later in my life, we had 2 sheep and 2 goats. And for the most part, I was the one who took care of them. Looking back at those times, it would be impossible for me to be able to sacrifice them. In a sense, they were my pets. I would talk to them and I would pet them. One of the sheep enjoyed coming up to me and moving as close as she possibly could to me, and then pushing against me, asking for attention. And that's the point that I think God wanted to get across to the Israelites. There is a terrible price to pay when we sin. Now in verses 4 and 5 of today's call-out section, we see that the person offering the sacrifices also had to kill the animal. This person had probably raised the animal from birth, and now, because of something that person had done, that animal would have to die. The animal was innocent. The animal played no role in the man's sin, and yet it would die because of that sin. Now, only the most hardened person would not feel pain when killing the animal. Now, what I'm about to say may shock all of you. The purposes of the sacrifice was not to take away the sin, but to rather restore the relationship that the sinning Israelites had already with God. Remember, the Israelites became part of the covenant through circumcision. In Genesis 17, verses 9 through 12, Moses writes, God said further to Abraham, Now as for you, you shall keep my covenant, you and your descendants after you throughout their generations. This is my covenant which you shall keep between me and you and your descendants after you. Every male among you shall be circumcised, and you shall be circumcised in the flesh of your foreskins, and it shall be a sign of the covenant between you and me. And every male among you who is 8 days old shall be circumcised throughout your generations. A servant who is born in the house, or who is brought with money from a foreigner, who is not of your descendants. Therefore, the Israelites were not offering the animal to establish a relationship with God, but rather to restore that relationship with God. And through that sacrifice, their relationship was restored. And that's exactly the same as it is in the New Testament. Each time we sin, we fix our fellowship with God through the sacrifice that Jesus made on the cross. Jesus was not sacrificed again. His sacrifice was once and for all. Now, in a few days, we'll continue this discussion when we return to the book of Leviticus.
Thank you for listening. We pray that today's devotion was meaningful to you. We would love to hear from you. You can use either Facebook or YouTube to like, subscribe, share, and tell others about us. If you would like to contact us, you can reach me at phineasjacobus@runningtohim.net.